Congratulations again.
One of us is going to be 81.
Nice seeing you.
En aquel momento le doy otra que en el principio.
Man, so you passed 30 years already. That's impressive. I'm coming up on 30 and I knew you were there before me. Because by the time I worked with him, he was in S&P.
Today is 14 years. Robert Sanchez last birthday. Frank's last birthday.
I took a photo of it yesterday. It's almost like they were all doing something before they went.
They actually, yeah. Well, even they had actually a planning before that. All three of them.
Yeah, but they all waited for a reason.
All four of them had already scheduled this like 2 years ago. Jonathan decided to work here.
Oh, public comment.
But yeah, I already planned it. July was going to be the day.
I didn't get the bonus paycheck, so Julie made a lot more than me last paycheck.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wow.
I'm in MOU 0 unrepresented, so we don't get a lot of those.
Hopefully you can appreciate yourself. Something. Stop around.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're directing everything.
A lot of projects get or just design and then
Yeah.
when did you want interesting. Makes it more memorable. Well, when I got not sworn in, when I got confirmed as city engineer, I don't know if you remember, that was one of the days they had all the riot police had to clear council chambers and everything. So that was an extra interesting day. What was the topic they were fighting about? That it was something about homeless. I forget now what they were all fighting about, but yeah, they were like really up in arms. Or was it the day we? I can't remember when it was. No, but it was something to do with rentals or rentals or something.
An early congratulations.
Y esto está ya.
Oh shit.
Voy a él a la hora de hablar.
Correcto.
Audio test, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, let's test this again. Audio test, testing 1, 2, 3. Looks like the feedback is gone. Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer for today, Friday, July 28, 2023. We should get started in about 2 to 3 minutes. Apologies for the late start this morning. For those members that are joining us through the Zoom application, good morning to you, and thank you all for joining us this morning. Just to quickly confirm that you can hear us online, Sefi Wiles, good morning to you. If you can just unmute your microphone and just confirm that you can hear us.
Good morning, Dr. Campos. I hear you loud and clear.
Great, thank you. What was that? I believe it may have been coming in from Ms. Wiles' line, but let me just double check.
Good morning, Dr. Campos. Can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sefi, for confirming, and good morning to you. For today's agenda, we do have a couple of celebrations this morning of retirement and also a presentation for our HBCU internship program. We do have 7 different items this morning. Item number 1 will be led by myself. Item number 2, Edward Arrington. Item number 3, Tanat Sadikit. Item number 4, Rashanik Varjavan. Rashanik, I apologize, Varjavan. Item number 5, James Young. Item 6, Sterling Gabriel. Item 7 will be presented by several presenters, Richard Louie, Ryan Tolles, and Ray Sasson from BOE. From BSS, we have Martha Iniguez, Brian Ahn. From BCA, we have Marjorie Manguit. From BOS, we have Nancy Lanton. And from the Bureau of Street Lighting, there's nothing to report on item number 7. For Bureau representatives that are on the line this morning, good morning to you, and thank you for being here this morning. Jay Wong, Sefi Wiles, Quasi Burko, Patrick Schmidt, and Rose Karagizian, thank you all for being here this morning. Should the board have any questions for you, we will open up those audio lines for you at that time. Again, that's for Bureau representatives. For members of the general public that would like to provide general public comment or commentary on any of the items for today's agenda, if you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 if you're joining us through a landline device or a smartphone device. If you're joining us through the Zoom application, you can click on the raise hand icon located at the lower right-hand side of your screen. If you're joining us here in person live at City Hall on the 3rd floor, there are speaker cards located at the back end of the room. You can go ahead and complete that and submit that speaker card to me at this time. Currently, we do have 1 public comment and a speaker card on item number 2. However, members of the general public that would like to speak that are joining us through Zoom, if you can please raise your hand at this time. We have 1 person that has raised their hand at this time. We'll go ahead and identify that person. Good morning to you, Dr. Williams. Which items would you like to speak on?
Items 0 for general public comment, and 4 and maybe 5.
Perfect. Dr. Williams, I'll have you down for general public comment, item 4 and 5. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Garcia, we have identified all members of the public that would like to speak before your board this morning. We have all 5 commissioners in the room as well, and I can go ahead and start the recording for you.
Yes, please.
Commissioner Garcia, you are now in record mode.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting for the Board of Public Works for Friday, July 28th, 2023. Dr. Campos?
Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum. We have Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Villegas, Commissioner Davis, and Commissioner Corzan, and Commissioner Reyes. Commissioner Garcia, we do have a quorum at this time. Commissioner Garcia, at this time we have 2 speaker cards under general public comment. We also have speaker cards on items number 2, 4, and 5. On item number 2, the speaker cards submitted are from the contractor. Should your board have any questions, your board can call upon those speaker cards again for item number 2, only if your board has any questions. To recap, 2 speaker cards under general public comment, items 2, 4, and 5. In addition to that, we have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section.
Thank you for that, Dr. Campos. Given that we do have public comment, let's take public comment now. And so let's start with Mr. Kenneth McKenzie.
Good morning, Commissioners of the Board of Public Works. My name is Kenneth McKenzie. 2 citations has been mailed to me by citing officer Marin. One on June 7, 23, and the second on June 29, 23, regarding obstruction of the public right of way for placing planters on the sidewalk. I have not placed any planters on the sidewalk, and I don't know who has placed it. I would like to get a note of apology from the citing officer, Mr. Marin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Campos will take the public comment from our virtual platform.
Absolutely. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is considering general public comment. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community, El Sereno resident for 35 years. Recently, we had a notice provided on Nextdoor of a street closure. However, there was no official document given to the people. It indicated that there would be a street closure on Barrett Road. However, it did not define how far on Barrett Road. We were able to get through to Street Services or Streets LA, Sherrod Nichols, and this morning James Young got back to us and reported that it was only 1 block rather than 3 blocks of Barrett Road. However, it was a matter that affected people concerned about the issue and could not get direct numbers from the source on Nextdoor. Therefore, we had to go into Streets LA. Thank you very much, Streets LA, for helping us understand what was going on in our area. That's it.
Thank you so much for public comment. Do you want to close? Given that that's our last one, right? Sorry, you guys. Okay. Given that that's the last of our public comment's now officially closed. Can you guys hear me? Okay, better now, right? Okay, good. Thank you. Dr. Campos, do you want to double check on closing public comment?
Commissioner Garcia, that does clear the queue for general public comment.
Got it. Thank you very much. All right, everyone. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday, July 28th. Believe it or not, we're closing down our summer is getting closing down, but today, this weekend, bear with us because it's going to be almost 100 and something degrees in many areas. So stay cool and hydrated all the time. With that said, we have a very interesting morning today and interested in all the best ways we can think of. We have recognitions, retirements, and elections happening all in one day. Yay! With that, I am going to actually remove myself from my seat right now so that we can have our annual elections and turn over the gavel to Mr. Dr. Campos. Dr. Campos? President.
Good morning, everyone. Again, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. This is the only time in the full year that I actually take the chairperson's seat to conduct annual elections. Item number 1 on today's agenda is the annual election of officers for the Board of Public Works for fiscal year 23-24. As required by the city charter and also the administrative code and pursuant to our board rules of the City of Los Angeles Board of Public Works, Chapter 6, election and appointment of officers, Board Rule number 29 and also Board Rule number 30, the board shall elect one of its members as president and one member as vice president, respectively, by a majority vote by open ballot. Commissioners, at this time, I will take any nominations that you may have for the position of President of the Board of Public Works for fiscal year 23-24. Are there any nominations at this time?
Yes, Mr. President. I would like to nominate Aura Garcia, who has, over the last year, brought to us over 20 years of diverse public service experience and brings gender equity in leadership here on the Board of Public Works. For those of you who over the years know and those who don't know, she has served as the president in the office of the president of Mission College, as well as serving as a commissioner for the city of Los Angeles in the North Valley Area Planning Commission. Additionally, under Mayor Eric Garcetti, she was the regional manager of our Office of Public Engagement and also our East Valley representative. Additionally, through these 20 years of public service experience, she also came to the city having already served as the Los Angeles Education Partnership staff member responsible for advocating for greater education equity in the Los Angeles area. And I guess I could say most of all, she is a graduate of that great university, University of Southern California, and she holds a master's degree in educational leadership from that university. And with that, it is my honor to help to continue to bring the kind of gender equity that reflects the values of Mayor Bass and the city of Los Angeles, and nominate Aura Garcia as president for the next fiscal year.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis, and thank you, Commissioner Villegas, for seconding that motion. Commissioners, before we take deliberations, are there any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations, is there any discussion on this motion before you? Seeing no discussion, we'll go ahead. Any opposition? Hearing and seeing no opposition at this time, we'll go ahead and take a vote at this time, and we'll start the voting tabulation. And we'll start with Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
And Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. This is again to elect and re-elect the President of the Board of Public Works, Aura Garcia. Congratulations, President Garcia. At this time, we will move forward with the nominations for the next election of officer, and that is the Vice President of the Board of Public Works for fiscal year 23-24. Commissioners, at this time, I will take any nominations for the position of Vice President.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Villegas to the position as Vice President of the Board of Public Works.
You need a second.
Great, thank you.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes.
Thank you, President Garcia and Commissioner Reyes, for seconding that nomination and that motion. Commissioners, at this time, we'll open up for any other nominations for the vice presidency. Seeing and hearing no other nominations, commissioners, at this time, would you like to deliberate on this item?
Can I make a side?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to also say that Vice President Villegas not only holds this position for and has done a very great job being Vice President, but she comes with 15 years of experience in public works. And so her asset to our board is really important when she comes. She truly understands what it is public works itself, the expert of our public works. So with that, President Villegas, I know I lean on you on some of these items when it comes to funding and just kind of the best practices around public works. And I thank you for all your time that you've been around public works. So with that said, I really feel confident that you will continue to thrive in your position.
Any other commentary, deliberations? Hearing none, are there any oppositions to this item? Hearing no oppositions, let's go ahead and start the voting tabulation. And for this item, again, this is to nominate Commissioner Villegas as Vice President of the Board of Public Works. Motion by President Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Reyes. We'll start the voting tabulation at this time, and we're going to go ahead and start this time. I'm going to go with Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
President Garcia.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Congratulations, Vice President Villegas, for being elected and re-elected. Great. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. Again, we only do this once a year. At this time, it is my honor and privilege to pass the baton back over to, in the chairperson role, to our newly elected, re-elected President of the Board of Public Works, Aura Garcia. And President Garcia, your first order of business for today would be to nominate and appoint one commissioner of this board as President Pro Tem. If you like, you can do it from your podium.
So thank you again, everyone, for being part of our election process here, that we do this annually. And thank you again to my colleagues for nominating me one more time as president. It is an honor and a privilege to be in this position, and I don't take that for granted, not one day, because this position allows me to do so much to bring opportunities and improve folks' lives. And that's really what I'm here to do. As my personal mission and my purpose in life is to improve the quality of life of others. And I really align with our mission here at the Board of Public Works. So it is an honor, and I'm really also, again, thankful for my colleagues to re-electing me again. It's, and to all the bureau heads that are here and are not here, thank you so much for, working with me and for being a partner in this. And I see myself continuing to just do the efficiency is what number one that I really strive for, is efficiency, and to make sure that Public Works always is at the best caliber that we can be. So thank you to everybody that's here and that's hearing. And I just want to say that again, I don't take this as lightly, and I want to thank also Mayor Bass' administration for allowing me to continue to serve in my role. I want to thank the City Attorney's Office for always diligently making sure that I'm doing my role correctly. Thank you for that. But I am here to be a support. I'm here to help, and I am here to make sure that the city thrives. And with that, I say thank you so much to everybody. I also want to thank my family. I don't think they're listening to me. I don't think they logged in, but I want to thank them anyway, because my husband and my kids are my true fully support, and I do feel fully supported by them every single day. We always really thrive with one another, and we always want to help one another within our little nuclear family. But I just want to thank them from spiritually. I know they're all doing their own thing, but spiritually to all of them, because they are really my support system every single day when I get home. So thank you to everyone. And my first order of business today is to appoint President Pro Tem, and that position is very important because that position serves as a president when we are not here. But not only that, it's a leadership role, and I want to nominate Dr. Davis to continue to be a President Pro Tem for the Board of Public Works. Commissioner Davis is the longest standing commissioner here on the board. He is now, we were just doing calculations just now, and he has officially has knocked down 10 years of being a commissioner. So with that, just along with that, you should just get a recognition. So with that, I just want to say, along with that, you get it. But for today's elections, I want to nominate President Pro Tem to continue his role, and you have done a great job in everything you do. Your leadership is very important. The diversity you bring is also very important, and just the whole programs that you've put together, we admire you for doing that, and we hope that you continue to do that, because there's a lot of young students that are getting an opportunity into positions, and just opening doors for them. Thank you for doing that. And so with that, do we take a vote on that, Dr. Campos?
President Garcia, that does not require a vote. That is an appointment made by you and solely by you.
All right, well,
But for the record,
officially
congratulations.
appointed. Officially appointed.
I just want to thank President Garcia and my colleagues here on the Board of Public Works, but for all of the over 5,000 employees for the Board of Public Works, and the service that we deliver to our citizens is critically important, and who we are is critically important. We're the second largest city in America, and I don't want that to just be a historical fact. or a title. I want it to be reflective of the level of service that we provide to our citizens as well, and that we can feel proud about what it is that we do to help make Los Angeles a great city. And to all of the individuals that we help in terms of employment, we are the most dynamic organization in the Southern California region, because what we do in addition to the service we provide is that we provide employment, because that service has to be delivered by someone. We are not Hooterville. We are an international city with people from all over the world. And oftentimes in organizations, we tend to think that perhaps there is not enough for us. But there's enough for everyone when we do our service with the kind of integrity that not only the Constitution provides, but that our leadership directs us to execute. So for that reason, I'm eternally grateful to Mayor Karen Bass. I was going to say Speaker Karen Bass, because I had the pleasure of working with Speaker Karen Bass when she led the nation's top legislature, the California State Assembly. So today, I think we're lucky in terms of working together. Public service and public works are interchangeable, and I look forward to continuing to serve. Thank you all so much, and I'm honored.
Thank you very much, Dr. Davis. I also want to thank Commissioner Vahid and Commissioner Reyes for not only voting for us to be in these positions, but also being a team player, a leader in these positions. As you know, we don't act by ourselves, and not one person is a general body here. We are a body of one by having 5 commissioners here. So it's not just one person that does this. Yes, I am the president, but we're all leaders in this role. We all have a portfolio to fill, and Commissioner Reyes and Commissioner Vahid do not only a great job, but a great job in making sure they're dedicated, committed to the work that we do here at Public Works. So with that, I thank you, Commissioner Corson, for your time and your valuable input that you always provide. And Commissioner Reyes, I thank you for your expertise and for your professionalism that you bring to this board. You have been a true asset to us, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. Yay! So with that, thank you so much, Dr. Campos. It's always a pleasure to work with you. You always keep us making sure that we are aligned in making sure that all of our steps are always well taken and that we don't miss on anything. So thank you again for that. Thank you. All right. Having said that, Dr. Campos, do we close elections then?
Item number 1 is now closed, yes.
Okay. Elections are now officially closed, and we start the start of our next year. All right. Moving on now to, give me a second. Let me get myself together here. We have, like I said earlier, we have items, and we also have recognitions, and we have some retirements. I think what we're going to start doing right now, we're going to move forward with our retirement recognition. This is a sad moment, I love the Board of Public Works, by the way. We go from sad, happy to everything all in like the 1 hour of business here. So, Greg, I did not know we were here. I was still expecting to see you in our meetings every month. But this is a recognition for Mr. Greg Vanderbilt. And Mr. Greg Vanderbilt, please stand. And Mr. Ted Allen, who's here, our city engineer. Yay to both. Ted Allen, our city engineer, I'm going to turn this over to you, but first and foremost, Mr. Greg, you have your family here as well, and so I want to recognize all the family members of Mr. Vandergriff. Thank you, and welcome to City Hall. Oh, yeah, yes, you can come. Okay, Ted?
Good morning, President Garcia and board members, and congratulations on your reappointment. It is mixed emotions today. I wouldn't say exactly sadness, because knowing Greg for so many years, I'm very happy for him, but we are going to miss him greatly. So it's a mixed emotion day whenever we have someone retiring like this, but I don't think he was looking too sad over there. He
actually looks very happy and with a suntan already, ready to go.
So Greg Vandergriff is currently the principal civil engineer in charge of our project award and control division. I've had the honor of knowing him for many years. He's retiring. This is his last day. He's actually technically already off, but he's here on his day off to be recognized. 34 years of service with the city of Los Angeles, and he did it all with great dedication. One of the things I'll point out later is he's very detail-oriented. So he gave me a bio that's a little bit too much to read all of it today, so I'm going to pick out some highlights. Very interesting. So he, talking about diversity and how we come from all over. So at the age of 8, he lived in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in a stone cabin that his grandfather had bought in 1955. So, you know, we all, so many interesting backgrounds, people from in Los Angeles from all over. His father was a contractor, worked on many things like roads, flood control dams, storm drainage ditches, even airfields. That he did an airfield repair after the Loma Prieta earthquake where they repaired it in 30 days. So Greg grew up around construction with his dad, and so becoming an engineer, he had a lot of that foundation, pun intended, to build on. He went to Brigham Young University and graduated as a civil engineer from Brigham Young. He and his wife Diana met in Colorado Springs, and Diana is here today with us. And they have 4 daughters together, also here with us: Sarah, Christina, Jessica, and Kira. In his 34 years with the...
We have to recognize the support system.
Definitely. In his 34 years with the city, also a good example of how a lot of us move around in the city, which I think is a great thing. He started at the Donald C. Tillman plant, but on the Bureau of Engineering side, working on projects there. And then in 1990, he rotated briefly to Central District, but then he promoted to the Bureau of Sanitation and worked on their recycling division, rolling out recycling, household hazardous waste. And that was really the early years of those programs, right, Greg? So those are still very important programs, of course, but he was in on the early years of that. Then he promoted to a sanitary engineering associate in what was then called WTED. It was before I started. I didn't get to be in a division called WTED, Wastewater Treatment Engineering Division. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself, but you kind of introduced me. But for those that don't know, I'm Ted Allen, city engineer. So otherwise that joke wasn't too funny. Now it's called the Environmental Engineering Division. So he worked there on a number of different treatment plant related projects. And then he got a temporary assignment to LAWA, but working at Ontario. So some of you may not know, up until recently, Los Angeles World Airports actually controlled the Ontario airport. So he was there working on change orders and whatnot. And then he promoted to civil engineer with the Central District in the Bureau of Engineering in 1999 and worked many years in our development services program. And for those that don't know, I was the deputy city engineer over development services for 8 years. Before that, I had no development services experience whatsoever. So when I came in, I really needed to learn a lot and draw on the experts within the program. And Greg was one of the experts in that program that I could always count on to explain whatever obscure rule or whatever. He not only knew it, but knew the history and was always so knowledgeable. So he was in the development services program for many years, but then including the counter, the B permits, utility permits, and then later he promoted to senior civil engineer in our GIS and mapping group and land development. So he was overseeing GIS and land development at that time. And then many of you have interacted with him recently. In 2020, he promoted to principal civil engineer over the project award and control division, where he's been our expert in contracts and risk management cases and just all the different things that project award and control division does. And they handle a number of challenging things. And even though he was approaching retirement age, and this was a very different assignment for him, true to his nature, he really learned all the details, quickly became an expert in contracting and many other things, and has been a great asset there. So a few things I noted, those were highlights of things that Greg provided, but a few things I wanted to say, and the first one I already mentioned, very detail-oriented. You could always count on Greg to do a great job in detail. He would never kind of gloss over it and give you a halfway done product. very reliable, always could count on him. Very knowledgeable, as I mentioned. I personally drew on his knowledge for many years and very much appreciate it. Very, very professional, dedicated. And one kind of funny thing I want to point out, Greg will probably laugh about, but he has a way when we would be in meetings, if you're talking about something and he didn't really agree, he has this way of doing this little sigh like, huh. Like, Greg, is there something you want to say? But yeah, he would always do it in a very nice, polite way, but always very much appreciated his input. And then last, but definitely not least, it's really the top of everything else, is just the family, how much he values his family, and you can tell by them all being here, but he would always get very happy and excited whenever he's talking about family, and so, I really appreciate that. Greg, I'm going to miss you greatly. You've been a great friend, great coworker. So I want to congratulate you. I have a certificate here from the board, signed by the former and current officers of the board, as it turns out. In recognition of 34 years of employment with the City of Los Angeles, the Board of Public Works honors Charles Gregory Vandergriff. I don't know if it's a story you can tell us or not, why you went with Greg over Charles, and why you added another G into Gregory, but yeah, I'd be curious to hear that if you want to share it. Congratulations on your many years of distinguished service and achievement and public service. Your professionalism and dedication to the Department of Public Works and the citizens of the City of Los Angeles is to be commended. With best wishes for your future health, prosperity, and happiness. So I give this to you, and I'll give it to you to say a few words.
Thank you, Ted. Over the years, it's been a pleasure to work with both you and your wife in the Bureau of Engineering. It's been a pleasure. The first thing I need to say is thank you. Thank you to the City of Los Angeles for my career. Thank you for the opportunity to work with this board. I remember as a civil engineering assistant, back when we had assistants, coming to this board within my first year and making a presentation for a change order that we had on a project. So that was my first exposure to the Board of Public Works. I was very nervous at the time. Since then, it's become much more familiar, and each time I've had the opportunity to work with the commissioners at the board, it's been a pleasure, particularly those of you that are here on the board now. As Ted mentioned, I came from a small town in Oklahoma. That town was primarily composed of people that were of Polish and Czechoslovakian origins. So it was also not very diverse. In fact, my elementary, middle school, and high school, diversity for us was we had some Native Americans from the Kickapoo tribe. Everybody else was Caucasian. There were Protestants, there were Catholics. As kids, we were divided up between goat ropers, the ones that were cowboy stuff. Then there were the smokers, and then there were the jocks. And that was basically it. So one of the things that I've enjoyed about being with the City of Los Angeles is diversity. One of the things that I've truly come to appreciate is the fact that everybody has a viewpoint, and that if we work together on projects, we can create something that's better than what we did individually as a whole. The other thing that I've appreciated as I've reflected on my career is the fact that many of the things I helped my dad with, as Ted mentioned, I ended up doing professionally with the city. And it was great to see how those things benefited people's lives, and it was on a much more larger scale than what we had done previously. Of course, none of this could I have done without the support of my family. In 1994, we moved out to Rialto near San Bernardino, so it was a 55-mile commute into LA, and it took about 2 hours to get home. It was my wife that really raised our 4 daughters. I was just there on the weekends, it seemed like, and for some special events. All 4 of my daughters, because of the privileges offered by the City of Los Angeles, have been to college. One of them went to BYU, one of them went to Utah Valley University, one of them went to the University of Utah. But Jessica, my third daughter, went to UC Riverside and graduated with a degree in neuroscience there. They all have degrees. I asked them, you guys do so well in math, why aren't you engineers? And they said, Dad, you work too hard. And then they went and became nurses, and I'm like, wait a sec. But one of the things that I've truly appreciated, like I said, is the diversity. And I've also appreciated the fact that we have a city family. We talk often about this being a family. And with the city family, I found that almost all city employees want to do a good job. In fact, I was talking to somebody the other day who was asking, what would you tell a new city employee? And I'd say, first, learn the organization of the city. No matter where you go, there is an analog to the city in that organization. So if you understand how the city of LA works, you're going to understand that organization. Second, learn how money flows. Money is the lifeblood of the projects that we do, the services that we give. So you need to understand where that comes from. And then I said the next most important thing is relationships. Everybody wants to do a job, but the kindness and graciousness that you show to the individuals you encounter, that's going to help them when you have a special request or needs an obstacle overcome. And it doesn't matter whether they're a janitor or a council member or some other position. We all have something to contribute, and we all should be valued for that. So again, thank you for this recognition. Thank you for the career that I've enjoyed here. Thank you for your kindness, and thank you.
Do we take a photo or, okay.
Let's take pictures back here and with his family and everybody to come forward as well. And any other BOE staff that wants to join, please come by. Maybe not here, maybe we'll go to the back. It seems like it's a pretty larger group, so we'll go to the back.
Okay.
Yes, but before that, can we say a few words to Greg? We don't, he can't, just 34 years, we still, we still have time with you right now. Let me start with our colleagues if they want to share anything. We'll start with Commissioner Corson. Oh, sorry. Start with Teresa then.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I was in the middle of a burp, just for the record. Now I know what the sigh meant. Having been on the receiving end of one, and yes, Ted, it was a very polite telling me of how I was wrong, and I appreciated that in our briefings. And I know it was not as often as everyone else, having only been here for 15 months, but 34 years is a long time. If you think about all of the different ways you've touched people's lives and all of the projects you've touched. Recycling, of course, is a big one, but I'm sure there are smaller projects that you worked on that had an immediate impact on the people around that neighborhood or that community. And that should be commended too, because sometimes the bigger projects, while they're nice and glitzy, everyone says, wow, but it's those smaller projects that I've heard countless engineers from the Bureau of Engineering talk about that have been the most game-changing in their eyes of their careers. And when we go to the site, I'm going to ask you, and you're going to tell me which one it was. But thank you for your service to the city, for helping build such a great city that we can all appreciate just as much as you appreciate, and to your family. We've said it all before that, when someone is here and is recognized, we're congratulating them and we're thanking them for their service, but we all take work home with us. And I can imagine at least you had 2 hours to decompress before you got home. Your wife is shaking her head no. But there's work you took home with you, and you still came back every day, and you still were a professional, and you still helped build a great city. And that is also commendable for your family, not just for you, that they were able to whatever they say or whatever they do, whether it's your favorite meal or letting you watch your favorite TV show when they wanted to watch something else. So thank you to your family and your support network for sharing you with the city of LA and helping us build a great city that you can talk about the diversity and all the great things you helped build that. So thank you.
We'll start. Commissioner Reyes?
First of all, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate the many years that you've dedicated to the city of Los Angeles and the work that you did. And I'm sure your co-workers will really sorely miss you, and whatever expressions that Ted said that you make, that will be missed as well. You have left an indelible mark in their lives, whether you like it or not. The friends that you have made, the relationships that were developed, the friendships, the family, it's all there. And you're part of it. And now you're not saying really goodbye, because I know that they know how to get hold of you. And for every retiree, I always say, volunteer your time to the community, because you will find yourself with those spaces of time, because now you'll be spending more time with the family, but on those extra time, it's worth, contributing, paying it forward, as we say. And thank you first and foremost to your family, to your wife, to your daughters. They're smart. They didn't become an engineer. But it's really how you model your life. I think they've learned a lot about that, and I do appreciate you have all the love here in this room for you right now. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for for your service. And I'm sure you encountered a lot of the challenges as you were in your journey, right? As all of us have. But you're here. You survived those decades. You have your certificate proof, and you have your retirement pay to prove that it's all worth it. Thank you so much, and I wish you good luck in your next chapter. Thank you.
Commissioner Dr. Davis?
Okay, thank you so very much, Madam President. And Mr. Vandegrift, I want to say that it's been a pleasure to be briefed by you over this last decade on so many engineering projects. We often wonder, those of us who didn't major in engineering, what do engineers do? And in many ways, they help to improve the quality of life, and they help to solve problems that we often as a society are confronted with, and engineers come up with a solution to help resolve that issue, to make it better for us and increase our quality of life. And I think you have thoroughly done that. You're an engineer's engineer in many ways in terms of your own background, and you talked about your daughters, and by the way, nurses do make good money too. So. And I can't say they work any less than engineers, but definitely for years, nursing has been a profession of preference. But in terms of engineering, I have enjoyed working with you, and as I said, you are the consummate engineer, and you also have spoken to something that's so critically important to the city, and that is, as I had mentioned earlier, we are a diverse city, and so diversity is so critically important. And your story is an American story. And I enjoyed hearing it as a student of diversity, having grown up in Oklahoma in a town that was not diverse. As you have reflected back on the various experiences that you have had, ending up in one of the most diverse cities in America, you concluded at the end of all of those experiences that diversity is critically important. Having started out in the opposite environment, you have concluded, after having encountered diversity, that it is critically important. And I will tell you, it is also critically important to what America stands for. When we talk about the American dream, we're talking about making sure it's available for everyone. So as you are an engineer who has solved problems, you have done that not only in your family, not only with the Bureau of Engineering by briefing the commissioners, but you leave here with a lesson for us. And that is your life of having not experienced diversity, having experienced diversity, and giving us a conclusion that we can live by. Diversity is critically important. Thank you so much for being a part of the service of the City of Los Angeles, and thank you so very much for the lesson that you have left behind. Appreciate you.
Vice President Villegas?
Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to see you. How do I go after that? Dr. Davis speaks so eloquent all the time, and thank you for your kind words for Mr. Vandergriff. It has been a true pleasure working with you. I have learned a lot from you, and I know that the items that were mentioned by our city engineer, Ted Allen, your professionalism and your good nature has always been there for us as we just navigate through different issues. You're a big source of information, and you will definitely be sorely missed. I know that the workforce has changed in the city of Los Angeles. We have many young staff members that are coming through the ranks, and I hope that your knowledge was somehow transferred, to them, because knowing how projects are developed, knowing how projects are coupled together with so many funding sources is key. And just being in this work myself for a long time, and understanding that, but really having a good partnership with our fellow engineers who really do that important work, and having you all understand that makes the job just that much more smooth and efficient. So really, really appreciative of your history and just your experience and just everything that you shared with us, and just the knowledge that you shared with us, when you were doing all of your briefings with us. And I'm glad I've had the opportunity to be with you for the last 3.5 years on this board. I'm appreciative of that, and again, just thank you to your beautiful family, that's here to support you as well. Even if it was a 2-hour commute, I'm sure that you're making calls and checking in on them throughout the day. Those are the only calls that I accept when I'm here on the dais, if it's my children, or because that's important. But I wish you a lot of success in your retirement, and I hope that in some capacity you're able to impart any of your knowledge wherever you're at, through either lecturing or writing something down, a white paper or something. I always say that because I always think that there's so much knowledge there, and it's always so good to be able to learn from others who have gone through this path. But wish you tons of success and a happy retirement indeed. Congratulations.
We're almost done there, so just hang in there. His daughter taking the video. We're almost done. Mr. Vandergriff, I have true admiration and respect for all engineers. It's an industry or a field that is not so recognized, but engineers just do so much that we don't see. Buildings, landscape, all of that, it requires engineers to take a look at that. We don't build anything without an engineer. And that piece of it is never really highlighted anywhere. Even as growing up here in the city of LA, I never knew what an engineer did, how do you become an engineer. That field is never really well explained or shared. But I think things are turning. And we really want to make sure that the engineering field gets a diverse entrance to many folks. So you have played a big role in that. And so I continue to say that I respect and admire all engineers, and you are definitely one of them. 34 years ago, you had a degree in engineering, when many of us didn't even know what engineers do. So congratulations just alone on that, on making that decision at a very young age to say, I want to be an engineer. And that set you off to this life. And that set off your family and their lives. And so I just want to say that as young as you were when you made that decision, you were very smart and you were very, very intelligent to go into this field. Thank you for doing that. How many years ago that was. And secondly, when I see you and I think of you, I think of perseverance, dedication, professionalism, and definitely leadership. And those are the things that we are going to lose. And I know Ted is feeling this, because as I saw your name, I said, oh, no, like, here we go, And, as the world turns right now and as society is becoming, a different, we are losing those characteristics. And we want to make sure we can, as leaders in the city, as leaders in our professional world, we're trying to figure out how do we keep that, and how do we transfer that, and how do we teach the next generation that dedication is important, that professionalism is still very important, and that perseverance is important to make, to follow through on projects and to fulfill them. And you did a lot of that throughout the years. I don't even think we have a list of all the projects you did, but maybe if you do, it'd be great if you take your family and your grandkids on a tour and say, I built that, I did that, I did, because you did. I'm sure you had tentacles in a lot of what the city looks like now. And with that is a complete, just take that with you and just be proud of that, because you contribute to the dynamic of the city, of the second largest city in the nation. And we keep on saying that because it's not an easy task to work in this city. I imagine if other cities, it's probably like a smaller task. I mean, we see it when we go out places, but definitely for the city, you have to incorporate not only your engineering, right? But you have to incorporate the community. You have to incorporate your what the council members want. You will have to incorporate what the board wants. I mean, building a project for the city is not just one person. It is a lot. And then we have city engineers that tell us, no, we can, or yes, we can. So there is a lot that goes into putting one project, and you, in your 34 years, did tons of them. And so with that, please leave with just the utmost pride and the utmost feeling of accomplishment. And as you reclined in your nice couch, and as you are at the beach or wherever you're at now that you're free, I just want to say, reflect on all the great work you did here, because you are truly valuable to our system, and we're going to sorely miss you, miss your characteristics, your just everything. We're going to miss it, and there's going to be a big void in engineering. I know that, that Ted's already feeling it. We'll figure out how to fill it, but it's never going to be the same. And with that, I say, have a happy retirement. Thank your family. Enjoy every single day. Do whatever you want to do. You want to wake up late or not or whatever. Do whatever you want to do, because 34 years of coming into the city on a 2-hour commute it's not easy. It is not easy at all. I think COVID gave us a break because we were able to work from home, but prior to that, you had almost 30 years commuting, and that is not an easy thing to do, to get up every single day and do. So with that, Mr. Granderfield, I wish you nothing but the best, and we look forward to hearing all the great things you're doing out there. But with that, you leave us with a big sad void today, and I just want to say it's been an honor and a pleasure, and really I humble myself to you, because you are definitely a true professional and a true engineer. And with that, have a happy retirement. Yay. Colleagues, we'll take pictures with Mr. Granderfield back in the back with your family as well, and any other staff or BOE, any staff that wants to congratulate him, please come to the back as well. He has 4 daughters here. You have 4 daughters and grandkids? A little short, yeah. Other than that, Mr. Granderfield, thank you. For those joining us in on the virtual platform, we'll be right back, about 5 minutes while we take pictures.
Yes, Matt? Yes. Okay. Agenda here. Okay, great.
I've done it enough times. My bag? It's in my bond. What's your like? How do you? Huh? Yes. What are you typing? Right here? I'm missing it. My bond. What item are you?
Audio test. President Garcia, we do have 4 commissioners in the room. I can go ahead and start the recording for you,
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
and I can reestablish quorum for you at this time. President Garcia, it is 11:20. We'll go ahead and reestablish quorum. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioner Reyes. President Garcia, you do have a quorum at this time.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you guys for coming back. I appreciate it. As, like I said, all within the hour or two, we go from happy, sad, business now, and it's always hard transitions all around, but I just want to say thank you for that. We do have a couple of public comments for item number 2, but before I get to item number 2, I need to approve the minutes for, give me a section, minutes for Friday, July 14, 2023. Is there a second to my motion to approve this item?
Second.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by me and a second by Vice President Villegas to approve the minutes of Friday, July 14, 2023.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimously. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Dr. Campos. We are now moving on to item number 2. This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration and Council District 4. And this morning, we have a couple of we have a couple of public comments for this one. Give me a second. Mr. Arrington, this is your item, huh? Okay, great, thank you very much. I was looking for your name. All right, but before we go to that, we have a couple of speaker cards, so give me a minute, Mr. Arrington. Mr. Matthew L. Saifin, do you want to speak or do you want to just answer questions if we have any? Answer questions if we have. Perfect, thank you. Mr. Vincent Holt, same, do you want to speak or answer questions? Got it. And Ms. Susan Hutt. Answer questions as well, or you want to speak? Very well, thank you. And Dr. Campos, I do believe we have somebody on Zoom that wants to speak on this item. Am I
Let me
correct?
double check. I have a speaker on 4 and 5 on Zoom. However, let me just double check, President Garcia.
Okay, I wrote 2 for some reason.
Members of the general public, if you'd like to speak on item number 2, the Board of Public Works is now considering the contract award to JR Pipeline Company for the North Outfall Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 35. If you'd like to speak on this item, if you can please raise your hand at this time by pressing *9 or click the raise hand icon. Last call for item number 2 for public comments. President Garcia, no one has raised their hand at this time.
Okay, very well. Public comment for item number 2 is now officially closed. This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering, the Bureau of Contract Administration, and Council District Work for a contract award to JR Pipeline Company, Inc., North Outfall Sewer Rehabilitation Unit, Noble Avenue to Citrus Avenue rebid, recommending the board to 1, find the communication from Spinello Infrastructure West, Inc., dated April 18, 2023, to be unmerited as discussed in this report. 2, declare JR Pipeline Company, Inc., first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award JR Pipeline a contract for the award for the North Outfall Sewer Rehabilitation Unit, 35 Noble Avenue. Oh my God, I'm going crazy with my agendas here. Mississippi, this one is more clear. Okay, to declare Noble Avenue to Citrus Avenue rebid project for $29,787,478. And 3, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Now, Mr. Arrington, welcome, and we're ready for you. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Edward Arrington, Principal Civil Engineer with the Bureau of Engineering. The item before you is a request to award the North Outfall Sewer Rehabilitation Unit 35 project to JR Pipeline for, as you've indicated, Madam President, $29,787,478. The scope of the project is to renew approximately 6,200 lineal feet of existing primary sewer as well as install a local sewer. The project is located near the intersection of the 405 and the 101 freeway. The neighborhood is Sherman Oaks, and it's near the Sepulveda Basin Recreation Center in the San Fernando Valley. The sewer alignment does commence at the intersection of Sepulveda and Burbank Boulevard. It then goes east from there and turns south on Kester Avenue, and then again it returns onto its eastern direction along Magnolia Boulevard. The particulars of the work include rehabilitation of the existing tile-lined concrete sewer that varies in range from 24 inches to 51 inches and consists of both circular and semi-elliptical cross-section. This will also include rehabilitation of 10 maintenance holes along the alignment. In addition, it will also include 6,800 lineal feet approximately of a new local 8-inch sewer, which will be constructed, as well as associated appurtenances. And in the process, of course, in performing the work, the contractor will be required to clean the sewer and as well as provide odor control and a sewer bypass as needed and traffic control. In terms of the duration, the contract duration is set at 1,006 calendar days, or approximately 34 months. The project is located in Council District 4, and we have briefed the council office, and they are in support of this particular project. In terms of environmental requirements, the project is determined to be categorically exempt, pursuing the provisions of CEQA and Article 3 of the city's CEQA guidelines. As it relates to the bids, the city engineer's estimate for the project was $16,174,940. We did receive 5 bids, and this particular bid effort, of which we list in the report, that GR Pipeline has been identified as listing a bid amount of $29,787,478. The second other bidders were Spinello Infrastructure West, as well as M&R Construction, Inc. as the third lowest bidder. GR Pipeline did list their total bid incorrectly. Staff corrected this error in accordance with the procedures set forth in the general instructions and information of bidders. GR Pipeline was contacted and notified of this correction, and the correction did not change the order of the bids. Based on the range of the bids submitted to this project, staff believe this bid is reasonable, and the contract may be awarded to GR Pipeline, first low bidder, subject to the verifications of all other bidding requirements. Now, in the process of, evaluating the bids, as indicated in the report, we did receive a communication from the second low bidder, Spinello Infrastructure West, requesting the GR Pipeline be rejected and be declared non-responsive. Excuse me. In part.
Hang on, this is important part. Just give us a second. We all love the city of LA, love it. Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. So in part, the communication indicated as follows. Spinello stated that because of the original addition to GR Pipeline was incorrect, it is impossible for BCA, referring to Bureau of Contract Administration, to clearly identify the lump sum item total amount in bid item number 11. Apparently, GR Pipeline's original amount did not correctly add up to its bid amount given any of the 3 likely interpretations of bid item 11 handwritten numbers, as the total bid amount was recalculated by BCA. In regards to this item, the interpreted possibilities are $900,000, $90,000, and $900. That represents a variation of $899,100 in that one item. Spinello also enclosed in its letter a copy of the schedule of work and prices from GR Pipeline. Spinello asserts in a closed bid competitive bidding process, BCA should not be asked to guess and arbitrarily interpret items in a bid. Because GR Pipeline's bid amounts cannot be compared to other bidders, absent numerical corrections and new interpretations by the BCA, GR Pipeline's bids GR Pipeline's bid is properly rejected as unresponsive. These are the statements from the the objection by Spinello. Secondly, they've indicated that Spinello further claims that it's not impossible to reconcile the instructions of ambiguous and unintelligible and omit sums in this factual scenario. In bids where the schedule, work, and prices are clear in their face, on their face, but have not been calculated correctly to reach the total bid price, the Part 4, General Instructions and Information of the Bidders, Section 1, Instruction to Bidders, particular paragraphs allows for the presumption of information and numbers. However, JR Pipeline's bid cannot be reconciled using those BC instructions because of the combinations of additional errors and ambiguous numbers of item 11, calling for severe subjective interpretation. Staff did look at this correspondence that was received. They've analyzed the information. They looked at the recourses that are provided in evaluating situations like this and have made a particular recommendation as indicated in the report. In particular, regarding item 1, the city staff did not guess and did not arbitrarily interpret the amounts of bid item number 11 in JR Pipeline's bid, which appeared to be entered as $900, comma, 00 decimal point 00. In other words, a zero seems to be missing somewhere. Instead, as per city policy and bid instructions, staff back calculated the amount of bid item number 11 by subtracting all other bid items from the total bid amount. Such an approach is consistent with Section 1E and 1D3 of the General Instructions and Information for Bidders. After subtracting all other bid amounts, the amount of bid item 11 was determined to be $900,000. Consequently, the bid instructions themselves allow for back calculation as an interpretive way to determine the item's total. Spinello's allegation of interpretive ambiguity fails. Although Spinello attributed the bid amount corrections to the BCA, the Bureau of Engineering made the bid amount adjustments discussed in this report. The Bureau of Engineering did so pursuant to and consistent with the procedure specified in Part 4 of the bid proposal as referenced earlier. Furthermore, because the Bureau of Engineering used the allowance back calculation procedure as specified in the bid instructions, staff made no arbitrary determination nor subjective interpretation whatsoever. Neither has there been any competitive advantage here. BOE staff considered the entry by JR Pipeline for bid number 11 to be a minor clerical error that, after correction, permitted by the bid instructions themselves, is immaterial, inconsequential, and gives no advantage or benefit, nor allowed other bidders under the very same instructions. Therefore, BOE staff has determined that the objection raised by Spinello asserting that the total amount by bid number 11 is subject to arbitrary interpretation or guessing, which would present an unfair competitive advantage for JR Pipeline, is without merit. As such, this error does not affect the award eligibility or responsiveness. BOE staff thus recommends that the board waive this irregularity and deem JR Pipeline's bid to be valid, subject to verification with other bidding requirements, as has been done in like situations before this board in the past. Now, Spinello did raise again a second item regarding the bid documents. In regards to this item, our response is that Spinello's second argumentation point, the city staff was able to reconcile JR's pipe bid using Section 1E and 1D3 of the General Instructions and Information for Bidders, thus resolving the ambiguity in bid number 11. With that issue being resolved, the city staff resolved the additional error where JR Pipeline's original bid item amount did not correctly add up to the total amount, allegedly precluding the application of the general instruction. In JR Pipeline's bid, the total for bid item number 49, in this case, was incorrectly listed as 43,450 square feet of TCAP and pavement restoration being listed for a unit price of $4.03, were erroneously stated as having a total of $94,386.25. Section 1E states that in case of discrepancy between the unit price and the item total for a bid item, the unit price shall prevail. City staff applied this rule to correct bid item number 49 by multiplying the 23,450 square feet by the unit price of $4.03 to get the corrected total bid amount of $94,503.50. This resulted in correction in JR Pipeline's total bid amount from $21,787,360.75 to $29,787,478.100. As discussed earlier in this report, JR Pipeline was contacted and notified the correction, which did not change the order of the bids. Based on the corrected total bid amount, bid item 11 could be back calculated as described earlier in the response to Spinello's first augmented point. The BOE thus recommends that the board waive this irregularity and deem JR Pipeline's bid to be valid, subject to verification to other bid requirements, as has been done in like situations before the board in the past. In summary, staff recommends that the board find Spinello's protest to be unmerited. Deputy City Attorney, Ms. Adina Hoppenstand, has reviewed staff's response and concurs with these recommendations. In regards to other items regarding this project, the Bureau of Contract Administration has verified that all bidders are certified low business preference participants. It does not change the order of bids, and it did not affect the recommendation for award. In regards to business inclusion, in regards to the business inclusion program, the program provides MBE, WBE, SBE, EBE, and DVBE, and OBE firms an equal opportunity to compete for and participate in the city's contracts. Additionally, the bid requires bidders to perform and document bid outreach via the internet utilizing our RAMP services. The Office of Contract Compliance, based on review of the documents submitted by JR Pipeline, reported the contractor identified pledges participation levels and comply with the BIP outreach requirements of the bid. The mandatory subcontracting minimum requirements for this project is 20%, and the contractor has complied by pledging a subcontract participation of 50.57%. This percentage was calculated after subtracting the various requirements. In addition, in regards to project labor agreement, this project does incorporate a project labor agreement requirement as indicated in the report. As it regards to funding, there is no impact to the general fund. Excuse me, the total funding for this project is not to exceed $31,276,852. So in conclusion, in view of the findings presented in this report, staff recommends that the board declare JR Pipeline first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award JR Pipeline the contract for this project. With that, I can seek to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arrington, for your very, very thorough report on all of this. Before I kick it off to my colleagues, I have a couple things. One, is Mr. Spinello Infrastructure West Inc. here? Do you know?
I don't believe they're not. They are. They were invited. They were informed of this this board presentation,
Okay,
and they noted as such.
okay, so they were notified of today's. Okay, and we do not have anybody representing Spinello Infrastructure West Inc. here? I don't see anybody here. Thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure, clear the desk on that. Second, I wanted to see, before we kind of kick it off to my colleagues, if Adina, on your legal hat, is the procedures between Spinello and JR Pipeline and everything we did from there, were they all under our legal capacity?
Yes, I think that, pardon me for the feedback. I think that the board report laid out very clearly both the reason for why the bid could still be considered responsive, and it was a waivable defect at that, as well as the reasons why the protest was without merit ultimately. So thankfully, we have a very clear written record in that respect, and that was something that Bureau of Engineering shared with me in advance.
Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure for the record that this has been vetted out, and it's not just, one, but it's been through city attorneys, it's been through Bureau of Contract Administration, Bureau of Engineering, and just all the following the procedures. So with that, colleagues, any questions on this item? Dr. Davis?
You you said in your report, you notified the complainant. What is it, what is the name of it? Spinella? You did inform them about this hearing, and
Yes, Commissioner.
and there is no one here in the chambers from Spinella, is that correct?
To our knowledge, correct.
Okay,
And they did acknowledge receiving that notice.
great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Davis. Hearing any other questions? I don't have any questions. You were pretty thorough. The report is very thorough, so that discusses kind of almost step by step of what happened. I don't have any big questions other than with the 29 million that they're going to receive, it is about a 4-year project? Is maybe
Close to 3 years.
3-year project?
34 months.
Okay. After that, is there any maintenance required? Or is it that comes back to us?
Yeah, it'll be the typical maintenance that the Bureau of Sanitation will perform at any of our major trunk lines.
Okay,
Yeah, other
okay,
than that, it's just regular rehabilitation work.
very well, thank you. Dr. Davis, you have another question?
No.
Vice President Villegas?
Yeah, just a quick question, just for the amount of funds that we're going to be using for this project. And thank you for your report, it was thorough. Is there a project labor agreement?
Yes, there is.
Okay,
Yes, and I'll be following this contract.
yeah, thank you.
That's good to hear too. Okay, I think we're pretty set here. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 2 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 2 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. Let's start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia,
Aye.
Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis,
Aye.
and Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arrington. Thank you to JR Pipeline and everybody that was involved. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 3. This is a request in the Council District 1 from Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Street Services, revocable permit encroachment in the public right-of-way, 4109 North Glenavin Drive, probably saying that wrong, recommending the board to, 1, authorize the city engineer to issue a revocable permit to encroach within the public way, subject to the conditions listed encroachments. A, portion of a new garage encroaching up to 6 feet to 10 inches. B, existing landscaping. And C, existing variable height block walls. And we have Mr. Tanat here this morning. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. My name is Tanasa Tidgit. I'm with the Bureau of Engineering. This item before you is requesting the board for revocable permission to encroach into the public right-of-way with a portion of a new garage, existing landscaping, and existing block walls. The subject property is located at 4109 Glenalvin Drive in Council District 1. The existing garage was built in 1922 under a building permit from the Department of Building Safety, and it was constructed encroaching about 8 feet into the public right-of-way. Over time, it has been damaged due to rot and moisture, resulting in structural integrity being deteriorated. The property has a project to restore the existing garage within the same footprint. The property owner, Mr. Derek Ryder, is already in process of obtaining a permit from the Department of Building Safety in order to repair the garage. The revocable permit request also includes maintaining the existing encroachment, block walls, and landscaping. Based on the BOE review, many of the surrounding lots also have existing encroachments or are undeveloped. It is unlikely that the street will be widened in the next 20 years, as the existing 25-foot roadway satisfies the 20-foot minimum roadway requirement of the baseline hillside ordinance. In the event that the roadway widening is going to be required, under the all permit condition, the owner shall remove all encroachments at no cost to the city. The encroachments do not adversely impact vehicular or pedestrian movement. Therefore, subject to meeting the conditions of this report, it is recommended granting the city engineer's authority to issue a revocable permit. Council District 1 has been informed of this proposal and is in support of this request. This concludes my presentation. I am open to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Tanat, for that report. Is the owner here of the property? Oh, good. Mr. Derek? Nice to meet you, sir. Any questions, colleagues? Vice President Villegas?
Thank you. And so the owner is to be moving all of the landscaping and then it looks like there's like rocks.
Yeah, those block walls and landscaping are existing, and we are capturing that under the all permit.
So those all need to be removed?
From the plan, those will remain existing.
Those will remain?
Will remain, yes.
Okay. And so what then is it the landscaping that's just adjacent to it?
The landscaping and existing block walls are going to remain. The existing garage is in poor condition. It's going to be repaired. Only portions of the existing garage are going to be repaired. It's not a complete reconstruction. And based on attachment, transmitter number 6, the red line shows the property line, and the blue line shows the existing, and the green shows the proposed. So the new will be reduced, the new portion.
Okay. What is the average cost for that?
That will be up to the property owner.
Design and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Got it.
5,
Okay.
6,
Thank you.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
Who's that?
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay. I don't think it was from the Zoom either. No, it must have been from the council audio then. Yeah. Tonight, it was not a countdown to you, okay? You were doing great. Yeah, it was just weird. Somebody else is listening in. Okay. Were you finished with your report, Mr. Tana?
I am, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? And I know Vice President Villegas asked a question. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none, I don't have any questions. Thank you so much for the work you're doing out there. It looks nice. If that's the last render, I saw a picture out there and it looked nice out there. Is that what you're gonna do, or you already did it?
Yes, it's basically reconstructing the same shape of the garage as it exists today.
Okay, perfect.
If I can explain one question for.
Sure, you wanna come up to the podium? Just state your name, please.
This is Derek Ryder, the owner and the architect of this project. The reason that the landscape walls are being included in landscaping in the description is because when you look at the site plan, there's the last portion of the walls that are being rebuilt and curved slightly. And that's mostly because the walls will have to be removed in order for access to the reconstruction of the walls. And then the site walls that touch the building will get reconstructed as they touch it. But for construction of the wall of the garage itself, the landscape walls have to be taken out. And they'll be built to code, which the current ones are just dry fit, dry stacked stone currently. So.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Here, seeing none. Any objections? Seeing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 3 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Dr. Campos is the first by VP Villegas and a second by by Commissioner Reyes to approve item number 3 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with President Garcia.
Yes.
Aye. Thank you.
There's a lot of moving parts happening right now. Yes, aye.
Affirmative. Thank you. Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you both. We're very much happy that you'll be taking care of this. Thank you. Okay, colleagues, sorry, there's a lot of happening here right now, including anonymous people giving us a countdown. Okay, moving on, I am gonna go a little bit out of order, and I am actually gonna take item number 6. This is the Department of Public Works Fund Overview, HBCU Summer Intern Project Preliminary Findings. If we can have Mr. Sterling Gabriel come to the podium.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
You can fix your mic. Fix it so they can get, yeah.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, President Garcia and distinguished members of the board and staff. My name is Sterling Gabriel. I'm currently a junior at Morehouse College, and I am here as a part of the HBCU internship. So my journey here started June 6th, and it is actually coming to a conclusion today, July 28th. It's crazy how time flies. So my internship assignment was to analyze the capacity of the Los Angeles municipal funds. And the title of my presentation is A Financial Odyssey, Navigating Los Angeles Municipal Funds Towards Optimal Management. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. I've lived there my entire life. And currently I attend Morehouse College, where I am a junior. And I'm currently studying business administration with a concentration in finance. So I've actually had a passion for finance my entire life. And I also believe that we can actually help empower others financially. And I truly believe that it's important to teach others the knowledge that we pick up during our lives. So while I was attending Morehouse College during my sophomore year, I actually ended up being selected for this HBCU program for this unique immersion experience. And since, my time here, I have actually been mentored by Commissioner or Pro Tem Commissioner Dr. Davis, Dr. Fernando Campos, and Norman Tanyada. So, leading my research for this project, I was actually given 4 primary questions to answer. 1, what are the existing funds within the Department of Public Works jurisdiction? 2, what is the active cash balance by fund? 3, how many existing funds can be repealed? And 4, what are the best practices and ideal models to manage the portfolio of the department size? So during my research, I took a couple of different approaches in order to find key information. First, I mainly used Los Angeles Admin Code, which is on the Office of the City Clerk's website. Second, I used Inside LA, and I used this source in order to conduct ordinance search and to also access the council file management systems. Third, I used the Financial Management System, which is also better known as FMS. And I use this to access balance sheets, summary trial balances, and to extract quantitative data points. During my internship, I also had 2 main points of delimitations. One was my research time here was 8 weeks. The results may have varied if I had additional time. And also, my access to data was limited to Info Advantage and public records. So I also believe that I would have been able to, with more time and more sources, been able to gather more information to answer more questions. So continuing on my approach and methodology, I also did comprehensive data collection, where I actually located purpose description of each fund, fund managers. I retrieved authority sources, repeal dates, repeal ordinances, and lastly, I tracked fund activity, which is where I would determine the activity start date and the activity end date for each fund in order to understand the duration of the financial activity for each fund.
Hang on, sir. It's coming from a line, but it's not the Zoom. Sorry, I know your presentation didn't have music in the background.
No, you're good, you're good.
What is going on? It's a council. Unless it's channel 35 that is playing. It does. We have to have council audio.
Yeah, it's live.
It's getting us ready for happy hour here. It's part of the learning curve here.
Yeah, you're good, you're good.
Can we still?
Maybe because this isn't a voting item, we can turn down the volume and then just continue the presentation?
I recommend you make an announcement for anybody who is listening to council audio to contact the number through Zoom if the executive officer can share that so that there is an alternate means to listen to this item.
Yeah, absolutely. Those members of the general public that are listening in through council audio or city phone services, we apologize. It appears to that we have an overlapping music that's coming in through our council chambers, something that we are unable to control for at this time since we are live. However, we have a clear connection if you're using the Zoom application. If you'd like to join us through the Zoom application, you can dial in through Zoom and enter the meeting code 161-637-1032. Again, meeting ID number 161-637-1032. If you are not able to obtain connectivity through a PC device, you can also use a landline device by calling in at area code 669-254-5252. When prompted to enter a meeting ID, please enter 161-637-1032. Press pound again when prompted to participate into the meeting. Again, this is for members that cannot call in through Zoom but has a landline device or smartphone device. You can call in directly at 1-669-254-5252. Use meeting ID number 161-637-1032. Press pound again when prompted to enter the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Couples. We'll isolate that and bring it down to a close. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Gabriel, thank you for your pivot there. We're back to listening to your presentation.
Oh, you're good. So, I'll repeat the last part one more time of my approach and methodology. So, lastly, I tracked fund activity, where I would determine the activity start date and the activity end date for each fund in order to understand the duration of their financial activity. As I previously stated, all of these processes were how I was able to come across this information, and this ultimately helped me answer my research questions. So first, we will get into the general overview. Thank you. First, we will get into the general overview. So, during my research, I researched a total of 181 funds, and for the bulk of my time here, this is where I spent gathering my information. So I categorized each one into one of the 5, which are active, inactive, dormant, repealed, and no records found. So an active fund, I consider that a fund that is currently operational and showing recent activity. An inactive fund are funds with no activity for more than 2 years. A dormant fund are funds with no activity for 2 years or less. A repealed fund are funds that have been officially repealed by ordinance. And funds with that are marked as no records found are funds where we were not able to find any historical information. As previously stated, the status of any fund is important information. With a known status, this gives supervisors directions on the next steps to take regarding fund management. So next we'll get into the general overview by total assets. Every fund has multiple data points that are important in tracking the progress being made. Assets are important to know in a fund because they play a crucial role in understanding the fund's overall financial health, investment strategy, and risk profile. Of the 181 funds that I researched, the total asset value is about $22.15 billion. Of that 181, 107 of these funds are active, which totals about $22.16 billion. 33 of these, no records were able to be found in the financial management system in Info Advantage. 24 of these funds are inactive with a balance of about negative $6.5 million. 9 of these are dormant with a balance of about $500,000, and 8 of these have been repealed, and there's a total balance of about $2.5 million. That $2.5 million is attributed to one fund, which is Fund 26G. So there's still $2.5 million of assets in this account that has been repealed. And for the 7 others that have been repealed, there's no balance. So within that one fund right there, there's it either needs to be balanced again or the money can be repurposed. So moving on to general overview by fund balance. This is another important area that I focused on. Fund balances are important because they tell you if the sheets are in balance and if all transactions have been recorded. In order to be balanced, assets should equal liabilities plus equity. A zero fund balance is significant because this implies that the fund is in balance and that nothing is unaccounted for. So of these 181 funds that I researched, 121 of them had zero balances, which is a positive thing. This is what we want to see in the sheets and the reports. Of these 121 funds with zero balances, 90 of these accounts were active, meaning they have activity through 2023. 22 of these accounts were inactive, meaning that they could possibly be repealed. 5 of these accounts were dormant, meaning that they were inactive for 2 years or less, and four of these have been repealed by ordinance. Of the 181 funds that I researched, 36 of these funds I was not able to find records for in Info Advantage in the city's financial management system. 13 of these funds have a negative balance, which totals about negative $1.9 billion. 11 of these funds have a positive balance, with a total of about $12.4 billion. So these last 2 data points right here, the 13 funds with negative balance and the 11 funds with positive balance, these are actually things that we want to look into because on a balance sheet, we actually want it to be in balance instead of having a positive or negative balance. So this would be on my list of recommendations on what to look into first based on my findings. So like I said, a positive or negative balance is a red flag, because not only is it out of balance, but there's also money that is unaccounted for, which not only can make the heart rate spike, but it can also lead to further problems if the problem is not soon balanced. So next we'll get into the general overview, the final general overview by fund manager. So of the 181 funds that I researched, 126 of these funds fall under the jurisdiction of the Department of Public Works. This is about 70% of the funds that I researched, although all 181 funds were actually within the portfolio of the Department of Public Works. So the Department of Public Works only actually has jurisdiction over 126 of those 181 funds. which means that 55 of these funds that I researched are not actually in the jurisdiction of the Department of Public Works, which is about 30% of the portfolio or 30% of the funds that I've researched. And I actually was able to find 14 different types of managers for these 181 funds. The Board of Public Works manages 17 of these. The Bureau of Sanitation has a bulk of them with 65 funds under them. There were 29 funds where I was unable to locate the manager for. And there's also 13 funds that had multiple fund managers. And so the 29 that I've been unable to locate a manager for and the 13 that have multiple fund managers would actually be two important data points to look closer into in order to find that important information of who is managing those funds, who's the proper manager, and also having the proper manager allows the fund to actually be ran how it's supposed to be ran as intended by the authoritative documents. You may ask yourself, which specific funds does each department manage? In front of you is a comprehensive list of funds per department. That is the yellow sheet. And as I previously stated, it is important to know the fund manager so that each fund is properly taken care of and in balance. So typically, fund managers are clearly designated within the city's authoritative documents. Authoritative documents are Los Angeles Administrative Code, council files, ordinances, in which they mandate the rules, the regulations, and the laws governing various aspects of the city's administration. When a fund is created, there is always at least one authoritative document which outlines the purpose, the manager, and other information that is imperative to know. So of the 181 funds that I researched, I was only able to locate authoritative documents for 139 of these, which is about 77% of the portfolio. And of these 181 funds, I was unable to locate authoritative documents for 42 of them, which is about 23% of the portfolio. Of the 42 that I was unable to locate authoritative documents for, 19 of these have zero fund balance. 19 of these have no records found in FMS, which means that I was unable to find an authoritative document and I was unable to find no records in FMS for it, meaning that there was essentially no information for the funds that were available to be found. And of these 42, there was one fund with a positive balance with a subtotal of about $3.3 million. And there were 3 funds with a negative balance with a subtotal of about negative $13.6 million. So I will now move on to my recommendations. So first, I would say address and resolve the following fund balances. The 13 funds with a negative fund balance totaling about negative $1.9 billion. And the 11 funds with a positive balance totaling about $12.4 billion. Again, that's important to address these because balance sheets should be in balance, meaning that it should actually have a zero balance. So having a negative or positive balance means that something is unaccounted for. 2, review inactive funds and assets. So there are 24 funds with inactive assets with totals to about negative $6.5 million. And some of these funds can actually possibly be repealed, which leads to a smaller portfolio size. And this money could possibly be repurposed or given back to its proper places. There are 9 funds with dormant assets, which totals about $500,000. And I would actually recommend conducting further research regarding funds where we were unable to locate the manager for or unable to locate the proper balance sheet or summary trial balance sheets for. 3, examine the assets of repealed fund 26G. This was the repealed fund that actually has a balance or an asset balance of about $2.5 million, meaning that, this money could either be repurposed or it could be given back to its donor or the proper fund that it came from. And number 4, in tandem with the city attorney, ensure easy access to each fund section in Los Angeles Admin Code, an ordinance, and the council file. This will help clarify fund manager responsibilities, and it's important to clarify fund manager responsibilities, especially those funds with multiple managers, for for a tighter framework, reducing errors and improving effectiveness. This minimizes unattended funds and optimizes resource utilization. Lastly, for number 4, improve record accessibility across platforms so that this information is in the future easier to locate, so that the fund managers is easy to locate along with the proper balance sheets or the purpose of specific funds. Also, I would recommend that there's further research conducted on funds where no records have been found in order to determine the manager and to determine if there actually is an asset or fund balance, because this is still important information to know. Lastly, within my recommendations, number 5, consider hiring more fund managers. This helps ensure that the workload is manageable and that each manager can effectively oversee a portion of the portfolio. Generally, larger funds or higher assets under management may require additional managers in order to handle the increased complexity and volume of the investments. Lessen the workload per manager. A high workload can lead to overwhelming exhaustion, a sense of ineffectiveness, and less accomplishment. Generally, overburdened fund managers may have limited time to explore innovative strategies, which could hinder their potential for portfolio growth. More managers means more minds for more ideas, leading to a workload that is spread more efficiently for the current managers, and it leads to increased efficiency in all facets. By knowing the strengths and challenges of the Los Angeles municipal funds, we can identify and commission more fund managers to increase the effective and the efficiency of the financial climate of the city of Los Angeles. I would like to say thank you to the board members for allowing me to have this time, this internship here, for allowing me to have the time to present my findings to you, to be able to give me your attention. Thank you for the opportunity to work in tandem with all of you. And thank you for this amazing experience. I believe that I have learned a lot, and the value that I've received is highly immeasurable. Again, thank you, Commissioner Davis, Dr. Fernando Campos. Thank you, Norman Tanyata, for all coming together to invest into me. I hope that you find this research valuable and useful when conducting further research in the future on these funds. And this concludes my presentation. I will now open the floor for further questions if there are any.
You did a very, very well job, and your findings are really well spelled out, that we're able to pinpoint where we need to dive in. So thank you for that. Sometimes even in our own presentations, we get bogged down with so many different layers of it, but you came from the outside, and presenting it that way makes it very easy to kind of navigate through all of this. And for that, that is also a skill that is really important to have as you move on in your career, that you're able to decipher complicated information and be able to present it in a way that your audience can understand. And you demonstrated that today, and with that, I know you're going to be a very successful in whatever you do, whatever you decide to do after you graduate and you're finished with your educational studies, and wherever you decide to go or whatever you want to do. Just know that having that alone will help you be very attainable, approachable, and accessible, and be able to, like I said, take this complicated issue and just really execute it in pieces that people can understand.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Very valuable. And I hope your time here with us was valuable to you as well as it was to us. And I appreciate it. Went really fast, by the way.
Yeah, it did go by really quick. My only regret is that I couldn't stay here longer.
Aw, we wish you could too. How can we make that happen? I'm gonna put it on for now. How can we make that happen? Yeah, we had a great time. I really loved seeing you in our offices, and we're gonna miss you. But just know that your time was here well spent. And we hope that I personally wish you nothing but the best and really success in your career. And just go back to where, North Carolina, and just, demonstrate how much you've learned here in LA and what you did here in LA, but mostly really the work that you've done here. I also see some of your other colleagues here supporting you today. Congratulations to you
So
too.
this is one of our other interns here at the office, and this is also my Morehouse brother, Marvion. He's working with the council district.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. Congratulations to you too very much. What council district were you working with? Oh, very nice. Very nice. I thought I saw you at the fair, right? That's right. I saw each other at the fair. Very nice. And you were working here with us as well? Okay, good. Well, congratulations to all of you for making the decision and participating in this very special program. You could have made other decisions, but you made this decision. And for that, we are grateful, but also very thankful to your time here with us. And you did a great job. I'll turn it over to my colleagues for now, but thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll do Commissioner Reyes, and then I'll do Dr. Davis after.
I just want to thank you, and you have my full appreciation and support and real gratitude for all the work and thinking that went into your time here and to this project and the recommendations. And I say it's very timely because about 4 weeks ago, the city controller issued a report on the findings for unused surplus funds of the city. And it behooves us that we can share your report, because I did ask a number of our bureau heads to respond back to the controller in terms of the findings that the controller presented. And I know that the Bureau of Sanitation is one of the top bureaus with the most number of unused funds. But it is also with us that type of thinking that it's just not the funds. There's a lot of other factors that go into understanding why those funds are unspent or where they came from originally, and the timing for the allocation, expenditure, and why there is a balance in those funds. So it's like digging deeper, but I think this one is a great start to really looking into that research that you did. So thank you so much. I think this is very timely, and this is one of our applications, so to speak, that we can share with our bureaus. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Vahid, do you want to, Commissioner Corson? And we'll go with Dr. Davis.
Thank you, Madam President. And Mr. Gabriel, thank you so much for your report. I noticed that our honoree who retired, Mr. McGriff, the engineer, today said, learn how money flows. And so you have mentioned in your report that you did an 8-week study. And my question to you is, during this 8-week study, and you've presented the findings to us today, what strength did you discover during this 8 weeks of this study of the Los Angeles Municipal Funds that really sticks out in your mind from those 8 weeks of doing research? What is it about the Los Angeles funds that you studied that you consider a strength?
So there's actually a few different ones. One, I would say probably the fact that everything works in tandem together. So even if it's 181 different funds, they all serve the same purpose of meeting the best qualifications for the city, or looking for or working towards the best that we can for the city of Los Angeles. I think it's important to understand how balance sheets work, not only for personal finances or finances for a business, but also for the city, because within certain accounts, and I'm sure with any city, there are funds that are dormant or funds that are available to be used in other different places. So I think it's very important to know how to not only decipher these statements, but to also be able to understand what's the purpose of these funds, what are they leading towards, because everything has a reason. No money's going anywhere without a specific reason. So I've been able to not only see that, but also see how things within the city work. Because although I was working with the funds of the city, I was also able to see certain processes within the city and how things are run. So it's been really cool to see that on a governmental level. And I also think that through this and through this research, I've also been able to meet some really nice people, some really cool people that are very personable, people that pour into you. I noticed that genuine people see genuine people, and it's more of a natural thing. It's not going to be something that you have to like break down. It's something that you're going to see right away. You're going to see when someone else is also a good person. So I think it's just been a great experience to be able to meet all these different types of people here, and everybody has their own personality. And once again, like people keep saying, the diversity is really amazing because it shows you different people from different walks of life. But just because they're from a different place doesn't mean that they're not also an amazing person to know. So definitely just the processes of everything in government. Government's not something that I actually thought about working in before, but now seeing it and seeing everything that goes into it, all of the different possibilities, I think that it's definitely opened my eyes. So I think one of the best things that I've learned is that possibilities are endless, which sounds cliche and which we already know in life though, but it definitely shows everything that goes into it, and that no matter what, there are ways to get things done if you look about them the right way.
Great. So I heard your recommendations, and I thank you for those that you observed that you think are solutions for some of what you discovered. You mentioned in the report challenges. So as we think about this 8-week study, and you've told us what you have observed as the strengths of the Los Angeles municipal funds that you studied, could you share with me in my final inquiry, can you share with me what did you discover as our overwhelming challenge from this study? What would you say is our overwhelming challenge as a result of having studied the Los Angeles municipal funds? What is it that we should most do? I know all the recommendations are critically important, but what is the takeaway? What is it we should most do to confront our challenge?
Most, I would probably say, is hire more fund managers if possible in order to achieve the highest efficiency possible. Because this would mean less funds distributed between each manager, which would lead to more time that they are able to dedicate towards each one. So that means that the money would not only be managed properly, that there wouldn't be inactive funds with inactive funds or dormant funds, or negative or positive balances, but also at the same time that they would be able to make these funds achieve everything that they are meant to, the full purpose of why they were created. And I think that with more fund managers, things would also be more organized. So there would be also like within these ordinances and everything where things should be stated or should be easier to be found, I think that they will be able to actually meet what the ordinance that created it said, or what the authority source that created it said. Because within these authority sources, they actually always list off what the fund purpose is and what the goal of it is to achieve. I think that these goals would actually be able to be achieved more and also quicker with more attention being able to be dedicated to these funds specifically. So definitely more fund managers if possible.
Tell us what you think about Los Angeles as a city since you've been here.
This is actually my first time here, so I always looked at Los Angeles as somewhere that I would want to live in the future. Actually coming here is completely different, but I love Los Angeles more than I even thought I would. It's one thing to see it online and everything, but to experience it is a whole other thing. There's limitless things to do, limitless types of people to meet. The type of people you can meet here, the type of things that you can get into here. I've learned that their possibilities are actually endless here, which is kind of crazy because in Charlotte, it's a nice place. Nothing too crazy going on. It's very peaceful. but at the same time, it doesn't have everything like Los Angeles does. Los Angeles has mountains, you have the ocean right there, you have within the city, there's 1,000 different things to do on every block. So, I mean, it definitely shows me that this is an amazing place that I want to get to know more for sure. So I'm definitely going to be coming out here as soon as possible again. But I definitely think that Los Angeles is a unique and amazing place. And it's cool to see as it is kind of one of the capitals of our country. Like, I was able to see the oil refinery where a lot of business for the country is actually done at. So it was very interesting to see like a city that is so busy and that has everything within it, like the international airport, the refinery, I mean, the mountains, oceans, the city has everything within one, and I think it's really cool. So even just through the experiences I've had here, everything I've seen, like the 1,000 different beaches y'all have here, it's been amazing to see. It's been a very beautiful place, and I definitely want to get to know Los Angeles more for sure.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you back again as soon as possible. Also, okay, with that, I believe I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Campos as we have officially recognized your internship here with us. As it comes to a conclusion today, we thank you for being an administrative intern too. Under the leadership of Dr. Campos and Norman Tanada. I have to thank Norman Tanada because I saw him really mentoring you so much. And so, Norman, thank you for your time. Dr. Campos, thank you for setting it all up. And Dr. Davis, thank you for your leadership and vision on seeing young folks coming from other parts of the country to the city of LA and just experiencing the work here. Thank you for that as well. All of you did such a great job in making this program come to life, and you are a testament to that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I want to also let the young people here know who have been here for the summer in the internship program in the city of Los Angeles. He happened to have come in here, Ted Jordan, who's our attorney, who we stole to do our legal work for the HBCU program. As we've said, we are a multicultural city, multi-ethnic city, and we have people from all over the world. And so we are always open, and besides, we receive federal dollars, where when we receive federal dollars, everybody's welcome, particularly those here from wherever in America are equally welcome for the service we provide. But Ted was critically important in our outreach to the various communities in Los Angeles and throughout this country, and he just happens to be here today. Not always is he here, but I wanted young people who have had the opportunity to intern this summer to know that it takes all kinds of professionals to help make this happen. So Ted, thank you for being here, and you guys need to know who he is. He's one of our city attorneys for Public Works and helped us with this effort.
Thank you, Mr. Ted.
Thank you. It was ideal to having you back. Commissioner Corson, do you want to share last parting words before I close this item?
I am a financial guy. Congratulations on completing the program. I'm going to miss seeing you around. You always have a smile and a sharp suit, and it's been noted you're a better dresser than I am. So part of me is relieved you're leaving, and Dr. Davis and I can take back our mantle of best dressed men. He's got it, but he's leaving. But it's been great having you here. I'm really thankful for the report you prepared. It's been things that we've asked around the dais and has come up. And thank you to Norman and Dr. Campos and Dr. Davis for helping you to put this together and teaching you the great things about being in civic service in Los Angeles in general. I think I asked you your first day, what do you look forward to doing? And you said you just wanted to go see some of the sites, and I think you were going to go out to dinner that night, and you were living close to Exposition Park, if I remember, USC. So I'm just going to ask you one simple question. What is your favorite place that you went to, outside of City Hall, of course, while you've been here?
Let's see, favorite place. It's either the top of Hollywood at night, or just seeing the entire city, just both sides, or Santa Monica, as touristy as it sounds, it was a very beautiful place and very reminiscent of a game I used to play when I was younger. But so yeah, definitely either Santa Monica or probably the top of Hollywood Hills, for sure.
We'll take the top of Hollywood. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time again. And I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Campos so we can officially recognize you and your time here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you to everyone as well for your kind words.
Thank you. Go ahead, Dr. Campos.
Okay, cool.
Just going to borrow this microphone over here, and Mr. Tunyata, if you want to join us at the podium. Members of the public and city staff and commissioners, thank you again for taking the time, additional time out of your schedule to recognize a rising intern here in the city of Los Angeles. Sterling is a rising junior, and we hope that he will consider us again next summer as a rising senior and eventually possibly city career with the city of Los Angeles. As many of you know, we've been working with HBCU recruitment, specifically in the engineering discipline for the last 2-3 years. As Dr. Davis mentioned, when I heard about a finance major, I got all happy, and it's a really rarity you see me like really super excited about this. But when I heard there was a finance major among the pool of candidates, I said, how can we get him over here to the city of Los Angeles, and how can we work with this young gentleman here in the city of Los Angeles? So his research not only helped myself and Mr. Tunyata regarding our funds portfolio for the Department of Public Works. We started off with a inquiry. It was explorative research for us. We wanted to explore what was out there. We knew that we had about 181 funds, but we didn't know the details about the 181 funds. There is a small portion of the portfolio that we still are unable to locate for various reasons that were highlighted by Sterling. However, that is a great step forward for myself, great step forward for Mr. Tunyata, that we can actually take his work and continue his legacy here in implementing fund management and portfolio management here in the city of Los Angeles. As mentioned by him, $22.2 billion. Let me say that again, $22.2 billion that are under your board's jurisdiction. Norman and I are just two samples of fund managers that are within the Department of Public Works. We manage close to about $500 million, $500 million, and that in itself keeps us extremely busy, keeps Norman more busy than I am, but we do our best with the resources that we do have. So I'm very much appreciative of what Sterling's work has done for us. It gave us greater clarity about our portfolio. It gave us greater clarity in terms of where should we focus our attention to next. But more importantly, how can we research and how can we explore ways to utilize these funds within the Department of Public Works so that we can reinvest back to the community, how we can improve community beautification, how can we improve public works infrastructure as a whole. So that is our next task. So Sterling leaves a big legacy behind. We're a big shoes to fill, but we do welcome him, and we hope that he'll consider us again for next summer as he becomes a rising senior at that time. So with that, I wanted to take the opportunity, sign by all commissioners, to present a certificate of recognition from the Board of Public Works honoring Sterling Gabriel for his time, service, and dedication to conduct research of the Department of Public Works fund portfolio during summer of 2023. Your internship not only provided you real on-the-job training and experience in financial management relative to public works, but it also allowed you on how to conduct research in an academic setting that will aid in your Morehouse College studies. The Board of Public Works, its executive officer, and our financial management staff sends much appreciation. So with that, I wanted to present this certificate of appreciation and recognition to Sterling. This is part of the culminating experience, so I will hand this over to him, but I do want to say thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for your internship here, and I appreciate all the time that you dedicated to us. Thank you, sir.
Again, thank you everyone for this experience. I really appreciate the time that you guys took to not only allow and get me in here, but also the time that you poured into me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for you. We'll take pictures, if that's okay, we'll take them back here, and then if the other interns can join us as well, so we can take pictures with the other interns as well. And then you're off to North Carolina again. Aw, we'll miss you.
Thank you. I'll miss everybody.
When do you go back to school?
August 15th is my first day, I believe. So I will be back. That's a Wednesday, I believe. So I'm going to be back that Saturday in
Okay.
Atlanta.
Very nice. Well, thank you again.
Of course. Thank you.
To those joining us on the virtual platform, give us about 5 minutes, a 5-minute break. Okay, here we go. Thank you everyone for hanging in there. I know we're almost there, you guys are almost, today has been a bit of everything. Like our intern said, City of LA, we have everything here. Okay, it looks like we have item number 4, item number 5, item number 7. Is that correct? Those are the ones outstanding items?
Yes, that is correct.
Great, thank you very much. We know I've had Metro people here for a while now, so why don't we go with item number 4? This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering and LA Transportation in Council District 9 for a street closure extension Town Avenue at Slauson Avenue, Metro Rail to Rail Active Transportation Corridor Project. Recommending the board to, 1, approve an extension of the temporary street closure in peak hour extension up to an additional 72 calendar days from August 20th, 2023 to October 31st, 2023. All the conditions of the board report adopted May 19, 2023 shall continue to apply to this street closure. And we have Miss Varjavand. I hope I said it right.
You did.
Okay, good. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, President Garcia. Hello, commissioners. My name is Roshanak Varjavand. I'm a senior civil engineer with the Bureau of Engineering Metro Transit Division. On May 19th, 2023, the board adopted the amendment.
Sorry, Ms. Varjavand, just 1 second. It's really hard to hear. Can we pick up the volume on her mic, Dr. Campos, please? Thank you. Because I see you right on the mic, so it's not you, it's the volume we have here. Okay, go ahead.
Hello. Hello, President Garcia, commissioners. My name is Roshanak Varjavand. I'm a senior civil engineer with the Bureau of Engineering Metro Transit Division. On May 19, 2023, the board adopted the amended report for the Metro Rail-to-Rail Active Transportation Corridor Project to temporarily close Town Avenue at the Slauson Avenue intersection for 62 calendar days to facilitate the street improvements that are necessary to convert an existing railroad right-of-way into bike and pedestrian paths connecting the Crenshaw LAX Light Rail Transit Line, the Harbor Transit Way, the Metro Blue Line, and various rapid and local bus lines. Metro's contractor, Griffith Company, has encountered several differing site conditions at the subject location, including unknown utilities, utilities in the wrong locations, and different fill materials, which were unforeseen and would prevent them from completing the improvement before August 19th, 2023. We request that the board approve an extension of the temporary street closure and peak hour exemption up to an additional 72 calendar days from August 20th, 2023 to October 31st, 2023. All the conditions of the board report adopted on May 19th, 2023 shall continue to apply to this street closure extension. That concludes my report. We have staff from BOE, DOT, and Metro to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Varjavand. Not be as loud. Any questions, colleagues? Commissioner Reyes.
Just one question with regards, because you know school is going to start and what the impact will be with regards to the school. I think there's a middle school that will be impacted. What kind of outreach have we done and what type of mitigation measures are we going to have in place?
Yes, we have done outreach, and I'll let Metro respond to your question in detail.
So we have done quite a few outreach to LA Academy Middle School. We actually have Perla Berry with Metro Community Relations on the Zoom call who can answer a little bit more in regards to the outreach that we've done.
Is Mr. Berry on the Zoom call?
Perla, are you on?
Oh, Pilar? Okay.
Perla?
Hi, I'm here now. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Perla Berry with Metro. For the outreach for the extension of town, we actually send out updated notices to the community and specifically to the businesses that are being impacted by the closure that are in the immediate area. We have not received any complaints regarding the closure extension. We also hosted a community meeting on Wednesday night, and we did not receive any questions or concerns about the extension that was communicated during that meeting. We sent an email to the principal of LA Academy, and we also met with him this week and discussed the closure extension with him. And he did not express any concerns with the extension. He's gonna send out the notice to his parents and staff, so that way they know to avoid town for the duration of the closure and to use the side streets to arrive to the school.
That is really good information. And is there any flexibility? Should there be any challenges that might occur when school opens? Will that outreach to the school continue, I would assume?
Yes, ma'am. Outreach will be ongoing for the duration of this activity.
All right,
The school and the businesses.
Okay, thanks. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes, for that. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none, before we deliver, we do have public comment, and I failed to call it at the beginning, which I'm still under legal parameters. If not, Ted would have thrown a pin at me now. But, so we're gonna go with Dr. Williams on the public comment. Dr. Campos?
Absolutely. Dr. Tom Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is now considering public comments on item number 4. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Hi, again, Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community, and especially affected by ADA compliance. For this particular intersection, and especially for town going north 1 block to 58th Street, there are virtually no ADA ramps on the north side of Slauson, nor at 58th and Town. So I'd highly recommend use this extended period of construction closures to add at least 6, maybe at least 2 on Slauson, which are non-compliant, and then perhaps provide a sidewalk between Slauson and 58th, because right now it suffers from the old industrial railroad tie backup issues as to trucks needed to be provided for rather than people. So please provide 6 ADA ramps and a sidewalk at least along one side of town from Slauson to 58th. That's all. I love ADA compliance.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. President Garcia, that does clear the queue for item number 4 for general public comment.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. Public comment for item number 4 is now officially closed. We were just in the middle of asking any questions, comments, or concerns from our colleagues. Any questions, objections? Hearing none, is there a motion on the table to move item number 4 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Commissioner Corson to move item number 4 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. Let's start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for your patience today. Thank you. All right. It's still lunchtime. You guys get to go do that. All right. Moving on. And I believe that was the end of our voting items. I'm going to take item number 5. This is a status update on major upcoming street improvement project by the Bureau of Street Services. And I believe, who do we have here today? Oh, hello, sir. Come on down. Come on down. Give us your price.
Good afternoon, President Garcia, Commissioners, and Bureau Representative, and Dr. Campos. My name is James Young. I'm a superintendent with the Streets Renewal Division of Streets LA. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on the upcoming resurfacing projects and and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays. For additional information or concerns, you can contact our coordinating section for the Streets Renewal Division at area code 213-847-3200. There are no major street projects scheduled in the metro or the valley region during the week of 7/30 to 8/5/2023. However, I will provide you an update with our 23-24 payment preservation program. During the week of July 30th through August 5th, 2023, the Valley and Metro region will complete 13 projects for a total of 10.2 lane miles. The press release were distributed and notifications have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with the council offices and to assist with the outreach to our stakeholders. We have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. The information is also available on our Streets LA website using our resurfacing open projects icon. This concludes my report.
Thank you very much for your report. Any questions, colleagues? Seeing none, thank you for your time and for your morning, for your patience. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Mr. Young. Okay, that concludes item number 6. And our last final item, thank you so much to all the Bureau reps. This is the status of all personal service contracts plus policy number 793, all bureaus and Board of Public Works. We'll start with Bureau of Engineering, followed by Bureau of Street Services, followed by BCA, and last, Bureau of Sanitation, as BSO has nothing to report this time around. So, BOE?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Richard Louie. I am a principal civil engineer with the Bureau of Engineering, and today I am reporting on the BOE issued construction change orders less than $150,000 that were issued between the period of April 1st to June 30th, 2023. So for this period of change orders issued under $150,000 between April and June of 2023, there were 112 change orders issued over 29 different projects. And the aggregate value of these change orders equaled $2,666,250.92. And that concludes my oral report.
Well, thank you. I think there's more, right? Isn't Ryan here? Okay.
I have 2 other representatives.
Okay, got it. All of the BOE team.
Yeah. Hi, good afternoon, Commissioners. Ryan Tolles here, Bureau of Engineering Principal Engineer with the Wastewater Construction Group. I'm here today to present the Bureau's construction orders that were issued for the period of April 1st, 2023 through June 30th of 2023. The report before you provides a list of all the construction orders issued under the City Engineer's authority of $150,000 or less. Using the construction services contracts that the Bureau manages, which are typically used for emergencies or as-needed repairs and typically have a 5-year contract duration. The construction order documents that we issue differ from change orders. These are separate documents that identify the scope of work, budget, and method of the work to be performed. So going over the report, starting with the municipal facilities, there were 0 projects and $0 within the period. Emergency geotechnical structural, $0 and 0 projects issued within the period. Street improvement contract, 0 as well, none to report for the period. Emergency storm drain repairs, there was a total of 11 projects within that period, totaling $445,854. Emergency demolition services, none to report for the period. Emergency construction and repair services at the wastewater treatment plants, none to report for the period. And the emergency sewer repair contract, a total of 97 individual projects totaling $3,722,700. And that concludes all I have to report. Are there any questions?
Any questions, colleagues? Seeing none, it was nice seeing you, Mr. Tolles.
Nice
If
seeing
it's not for this, you don't come here anymore.
Nice
Thank
seeing
you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you for your patience. Mr. Cisnon, good to see you too, sir.
Good to see you. Ray Season from Bureau of Engineering, Project Awards Control Division. I'm here to report on our personal services contract and policy 793 for period between the period of April 1 to June 30 of 2023. For the reporting period, we have a total of 167 contracts within the Bureau. And for our invoice for our personal services contract for the reporting period, we have a total of 208,369 for our MBE, WPE contracts. For the business inclusion program, we have 11,103,762. And for the disadvantaged business outreach, which is a federally funded project, is 2,711,558,000. As a part of a policy 793, we need to report on tasks awarded under 150,000. For there was no tasks awarded for the MBE, WBE contracts. A total of 4 TO task order were awarded for the business inclusion program and none for the DBE. For task awards over 150,000, we don't have any to report for MBE, WBE. We have a total of 5 task order awarded in the business inclusion program and none for the DBE. To date, the ramp is still working properly. We have not received any complaints or issues for our task orders, so there's nothing to report. We have a total of 13 contracts that will expire in the next 90 days. All contracts will be archived once it expires. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Mr. Cisnon? None. Hearing none, thank you so much for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks
Nice
so
seeing you too. Have a good weekend. Okay, that is it for the Bureau of Engineering team. Thank you all. Have a good weekend. Bureau of Street Services.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian An, and I'm with Bureau of Street Services. I would like to report for the second quarter 2023 change orders issued for the Streets LA construction project, San Fernando Bike Path Phase 3 project. For the San Fernando Road Bike Path Phase 3 project, in the second quarter of 2023, Streets LA issued 11 change orders in the amount of $411,512.90, which is 1.86% of the contract amount. For the project, Streets LA's issued a total of 57 change orders in the amount of $356,885.01, which is 14.75% of the contract amount. That concludes the updates for the second quarter for the Streets LA projects.
Thank you so much. I have a question. You have here under status period April through June 2023, pending contract 6. What does pending contract mean?
Which number was this, Commissioner?
It's on your last page of your report. It says contract summary status for the period of April through June 2023, date 7/28. It's the last one, page 1, I'm sorry, 1 of 12, page 1. Oh, that's you. I'm sorry, not you. Thank you.
Okay.
But hang on, any questions? Any questions for Brian? No questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good weekend. Okay, Ms. Iniguez, you already know what I'm going to ask.
Good afternoon, everyone. Martha Iniguez, representing the Bureau of Street Services. During this second quarter, the Bureau had a total of 21 active contracts, I'm sorry, I was thinking about the presentation. 5 amendments were executed, 6 contracts are pending, or were pending. 5 contracts were due to expire within 90 days, and 1 contract had expired. I'll begin with item number 3, which is for hazardous waste disposal. This contract expires this year on November 1st. We will be piggybacking on sanitation's 2021 RFP process and will be executing a contract with their selected bidder. We hope to bring this to the board within the next month or 2. Items 4 through 8 are for disposal services. All 5 contracts were amended on April 20th to extend each contract for 1 year plus 1 year renewal option, and they were executed on April 20th. Recently, on July 21st, this board also approved the second amendment for waste management to adjust the list of their facilities. Items 9 through 12 are for the maintenance of landscape median islands. These contracts are due to expire on October 5th. This board approved the advertisement of the request for bids on July 14th. The pre-bid meeting was held yesterday, and bids are due on August 16th. Item number 13 is a contract for bus benches on March 1st. The board approved an amendment to include shade structures to the bus benches, and it is currently pending mayoral ED3 approval. Item 14 is for cool pavement with Creative Paving Solutions. This contract expired on June 30th. We are currently drafting a new request for proposals. Item 16 is for the transport of heavy equipment. We will be exercising the final 1-year renewal option to extend the term to October 31st, 2024. Item 17 is for maintenance of the Venice Canals and Bologna Creek. A request for proposals is currently being drafted. Item 19 is for the Sidewalk and Transit Amenities Program with Transito Vector. On March 1st, this board approved the report requesting revisions to the installation and site preparation locations. No other changes were made to the contract. Therefore, unfortunately, there needs to be a correction on the report to remove the statement that ED3 approval is pending, when in fact it is not required. For pending contracts, we currently have 2 items listed, but I'll go to number 2 for the sidewalk and park vending outreach and education on-call contract with 5 separate consultants. The board approved the contract awards on February 15th, and we are still awaiting mayoral ED3 approval. All other contracts are active and don't expire until August 2024 or later. The next items are our TOSs, of which we currently have a total of 13. We want to again thank the Bureau of Engineering, Department of Transportation, and appreciate them for allowing us to use their on-call contracts to issue the TOSs. To start off with item number 3 for TOSs, this is for transportation technology with Hatch Associate. Work was completed, and the final closeout letter is being drafted. Item number 4 is for civil engineering with Kimley Horn and Associates for the Broadway Manchester Transportation Project. Total notices to proceed issued through April, total $5,529,727. Item number 5 is for transportation planning and urban design with Nelson Nygaard. Work has been completed and the final invoice is being processed. Items 6 and 7 are both with CDM Smith for the Measure W feasibility studies for the Mission Mile Sepulveda and Eagle Rock Boulevards. Both are completed and the final invoices are being processed. Number 11 is for pavement condition survey with Michael Baker. On January 18th, this board approved the award to Michael Baker. Notices to proceed through June 22nd totaled just under $700,000. Item number 11 is for pavement condition survey. Oh, I'm sorry. Item number 12 is for the Osborne Street Path to the park feasibility study. This is a new TOS, which was issued on February 14th. The pre-proposal meeting was held on February 21st. 4 proposals were received, and in May, the board approved the award to Geocentech. Notice to proceed in the amount of $198,764 was issued on May 11th. And the last item, number 13, is also a new TOS. It is for the engineering support services for the Mission Mile Sepulveda project. The TOS was issued in September. 6 proposals were received. In June, this board approved the award to Kimley Horn. Total notices to proceed issued through May total just over 1.7 million. All other TOSs are active and are not due to expire until October 2024 or later. That concludes my report. I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dominguez. You answered my question within your report. Thank you for that. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none. Just a quick follow-up. Do we have any idea when the pending contracts will be out of review, ED3 review?
We hope that the sidewalk and park vending one will be soon. I believe they are reviewing it at this time.
Okay.
I haven't gotten word about the others.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No questions? Thank you so much. Have a good weekend, and thank you for being so patient again.
Thank you again.
Thank you. All right, BCA is not here, so we are going to finish up with Bureau of Sanitation. Ms. Lanton, you are the sole only provider. Thank you so much, Ms. Lanton, for being such a trooper.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nancy Lanton from LA Sanitation and Environment. This is LA Sanitation's Personal Services Contracts Quarterly Report for the quarter ending June 30, 2023. The total amount that was billed since my last report, since last quarter, was $41 million. $2.1 million of these contracts are under the old MBE WBE program, and $38.8 million of invoices were processed under the Business Inclusion Program. Subcontractor participation is as follows. Under the old MBE WBE program, 34.0% or $739,000 was paid out to WBEs. Under the Business Inclusion Program, MBE payments were 1.2%, WBE 0.7%, SBE 0.9%, EBE 0.6%, DVBE 0.0%, OBE 2.1%, for a total of $1.8 million paid out under business inclusion. For this reporting period, sanitation does have 8 contracts expiring within the next 9 months. 6 of these contracts fall under our clean water contracts, and these contracts are as follows. Denali Water Solutions and Nursery Products. These contracts are expiring August 20th. These are for the management of the city's biosolids. The board did approve a 3-year renewal option contained in these contracts. The next contract expiring is Geo-Environment Technologies. These expire September 27th, 2023. This is for the specialized expert assistance in developing the Terminal Island Renewable Energy Project. The board did approve this on June 30, 2023, and it's currently under 83 review. The next contract expiring is Southern California Disposal, expiring October 30th, 2023. This is to provide transportation and disposal services of municipal solid waste generated in the West LA waste shed. And this contract is currently being renewed. It's a sole source contract with Southern California Disposal. That board report is currently being prepared for board consideration. The next contract is Ballard Marine Construction. These expire November 4th, 2023. This is for the Hyperion Reclamation Plant annual outfall inspections. The board did approve exercising a 2-year renewal option contained in this contract. And then the last contract under our clean water programs is Golden Bell Products, expiring January 7th, 2024. This is for the sewer roach control and treatment services. LA San is proposing to amend this contract to allow additional time to release a new RFP for these services and select a new contractor. There is one contract under the Solid Resources Program expiring. This is with Waste Management. This is for MSW, Municipal Solid Waste. This contract is not going to be renewed. We did release a new RFP for these services. That's been executed and with a new contractor. Under our Joint Services Program, the Clean Harbors contract is expiring November 1st, 2023. This is for Residential Special Materials Management Program and Routine and Emergency Hazardous Materials. A new RFP was issued for these services, and the board did approve a new contract, and Mayor and Council did approve that, and a new contract has been executed. For our Policy 793 update, so these are our on-call contracts. Our first set of on-call contracts is for our sanitation, automation, and technology projects. These are with our 9 IT firms. These sets of contracts will expire April 8th, 2024. Under these on-call contracts, we have issued 19 task orders. 11 have been awarded. The total contract amount under these contracts is $24.6 million, and we've expended $18.1 million. Subcontractor participation under these contracts is MBE is 25.7%, WBE 14.0%, SBE 4.10%, EBE 0.2%, and OBE 2.4%. The next set of on-call contracts that we have are our 24 contractors under our technical and consulting services. These contracts expire July 2024. Under these set of on-call contracts, the total contract amount is $298.9 million. Total expenditures under these contracts are $184.3 million, or 61.7% has been spent. Subcontractor participation levels for these sets of contracts are 21.0% MBE, 6.4% WBE, 19.0% SBE, 11.4% EBE, 0.9% DVBE, and 20% OBE. Under these set of on-call contracts, total tosses that have been issued that are less than $150,000 is a total of $5.7 million. Paid out to date is $4.2 million. Tosses that have been issued that are greater than $150,000, total contracts total $293 million, and we've paid out $180.1 million, total of 61% paid out. The report before you also includes subcontractor deviations. We do evaluate the tosses under these on-call contracts. 23 of them fall under the deviations fall under those on-call contracts that I had just mentioned. The main majority of these contracts is that we do anticipate that subcontractors will be utilized during the later phases of the project, and I have noted in the report before you of tosses that have been closed and the reasons why those subcontractor deviations were not met. And that concludes my report for this quarter. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lanton. Any questions? None. Thank you so much, and thank you again for your patience. Have a good rest of the weekend. Well, have a good weekend.
You too. Stay
Thank
cool.
you, ma'am.
Stay cool, everyone.
Yes. Dr. Campos, have we cleared today's desk?
Yes, you have.
Great. It is now 1:12 and this meeting is officially adjourned. We are also going to cancel management meeting so that we can all catch our breath and eat something. All right. Thank you with that. Yes. And Ted Jordan, thank you for doing a celebrity sighting here with us. Other than that, have a good weekend as well. Mr. Guard, thank you for your help today and have a good weekend.